In this video, let's take a look at the collapse of the Denver Broncos as their QB gets further injured and solidifies that he is indeed a master thief. Charvarius Ward not wanting to see Chiefs fans at the 49ers game. Spags' blitzes actually being decently successful, all things considered. Then we have to look at the Chiefs restructuring tight end Travis Kelce's contract over the weekend and go over options about what that could mean and much freaking more. But first, how about those? What's up, guys? My name is Cole, aka the Bearded Hamburglar, and I do daily news about the Kansas City Chiefs, so I'm going to need you to sub if you're new. Hit that like button if you, like me, are thoroughly enjoying watching the Denver Broncos meltdown before our very eyes. And let's get into this video starting with that very subject, the Denver Broncos. I mean, sheesh, did y'all watch the Chargers and Broncos game last night? My God, it was awful. The Chargers won the game by kicking 4 field goals. The last one in overtime. The Broncos came out hot in the first quarter, though, and I was like, wow, the Broncos are actually moving down the field. This is kind of weird to watch. But then someone unplugged Russell Wilson's microwave, and that man could no longer cook. Poor guy. They were 0-1 in the red zone. Yes, that's right. Denver only made it to the red zone one freaking time. They also had 10 penalties for 151 yards and blew the game in overtime in absolutely embarrassing fashion via a muffed punt where a player ran into the kick returner. It was a mess. He was kind of pushed into the guy, but it is what it is. The Broncos lose once again in absolute classic Broncos fashion since Russell Wilson has arrived. Now, the Chargers, we cannot let them off the hook. They were playing absolutely god-awful as well. My voice cracked. That's how bad they were playing. They finally managed to get close enough to kick a field goal because of that muffed punt and won the game with a field goal kicker whose leg was very hurt. But he gave all praise, honor, and glory to Jesus Christ like Russell Wilson, so it's all good. There was like 5 possessions in overtime, guys. It was absolutely miserable to watch. The Broncos punted 7 times, the Chargers 4, and this is how bad things were also going for the Chargers, but thank God the Broncos suck so bad, they were able to pull out a win anyway. One of the Chargers / free agent signings, J.C. Jackson, who was signed to a 5-year, $82 million contract this past offseason, was playing so poorly that he was benched, and the Chargers continued to be absolutely riddled with injuries. And at this point, guys, it is no longer bad luck regarding the Chargers and injuries. There's got to be more to the story. I don't know if it's their athletic trainers, their medical staff, a mix of everything. They overtrain them. I don't know. But every single year, the Chargers' injuries pile up so high that poor Russell Wilson could never even dream of seeing over that injury pile. And speaking of Russ, Mr. Limited, who officially cannot cook, and injuries, and I don't want to make fun of this because I don't wish injuries upon anybody, but after his 4th loss last night against the Chargers, Russell Wilson is getting an MRI on his hamstring. So not only does he have a banged up shoulder, a strained or a partially torn lat, depending on where on the internet you look, that he needed an injection for that may or may not have even helped, he now has a potentially fairly significant injury. And get this, Ian Rappaport tweeted out today to let everybody know that the injury is real and he is in real pain. Well, thanks for letting us know. So now we are 100% confident that it wasn't a fake injury and he was in fake pain. Thank you for that. I will say this though, the Russell Wilson experiment so far has gone horribly. Let's not sugarcoat that. Shh, it's been so bad. For example, this is how bad things are going. Look at this. Drew Lock in his first 6 games as a Bronco. He was 122 for 189, 1,236 yards, 8 TDs, 3 interceptions, and a 90.6 rating with a record of 4-2. Russell Wilson's first 6 games in Denver, 116 for 198. That's a 58.6 completion rating, by the way. 1,442 yards, 5 TDs, 3 interceptions, an 83.4 rating, 2-4. My, oh my, that is bad, so bad. So bad that Denver went from praising him as their Lord and Savior that will once again help them take the throne of the AFC West to booing him during games to now having news channels like this one, Broncos 365, calling for him to be imprisoned for robbing the team of all that money. And we can't forget to mention that he had the highest number of jersey sales this offseason as well, so he owes all those poor people money as well. Not that they're poor, I just feel bad for them for buying the hype. He is a bona fide thief and fooled everyone. Not me, but more on that in a moment first, because you got to see some of these tweets from this Broncos news channel during the offseason versus how they are now. It's absolutely classic. June 7th, what an absolutely historic offseason for the Denver Broncos. July 26th, do people not understand that Nathaniel Hackett's system just produced back-to-back MVP seasons for Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay? Russ is going to thrive in the Mile High Broncos. August 6th, after the scuffle at Broncos practice today, Nathaniel Hackett made the players who fought hug each other in front of the whole team. This coach is awesome. Well, isn't that great? You think he also makes them hug in the locker room after a loss? What the heck is that going to do? It's okay, guys. Don't fight. Hug it out. It'll get better soon, I promise. Good God, man. August 18th, Seahawks fans can run their mouths all they want, but they're about to find out real quick what life is like without a franchise QB. Really now? How'd that work out for you? Anyway, season starts and a few weeks go by. Listen to this now. October 6th, fire everyone. The ride is over. Last night, during the game against the Chargers, I'm starting to think Russell Wilson might have pulled off the biggest heist in history. Russell Wilson is going to lose the locker room. Not trying to overreact here, but Russell Wilson should be in prison. The season is over. Not much else to say. Bad teams will show you who they are time and time again. I mean, this is some pure comedic gold, and it's not even this guy's fault. He just runs a Twitter account covering Broncos news. He doesn't run the team. It's the entire organization of the Denver Broncos' fault. Those pathetic losers. That's what you get for signing a man to a 5-year contract extension worth nearly $250 million when he never even played a single snap for the franchise. That's what y'all freaking get. Anyway, by this point, I've spent way too much time on this pathetic team, but it was worth addressing in a bit of detail as the average Broncos fan wants to now burn down their beloved team's entire stadium, or if not that, at least burn down their local Walmart.
Firefighters battling a fire at a Walmart.
Big, huge flames.
In other news, the Chiefs play the 49ers this Sunday. Yes, the team that has fans who still whine and complain about losing to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl nearly 3 years ago, and a former Chiefs cornerback who is now with the 49ers, Charvarius Ward, knows that the people of Chiefs Kingdom are insane and will travel to away games and be very loud while they're there. Well, get this, he tweeted this out the other day. Please don't allow no red and yellow jerseys in Levi's Stadium next week, faithful. Faithful, huh? Fill it up in red and gold. Homie, you've been there like 6 months. Anyway, I won't lie, I was sort of hurt by that tweet. Like, bro, I wanted you to stay in KC, and now you don't even want to see us Chiefs fans? Well, it ain't really that serious. The tweet was pretty funny. So long story short, if you guys are listening to me right now and you have any respect for me, I need you to buy a ticket immediately and fly out to the game to greet our old buddy Charvarius Ward, who left last week's game against the Falcons with a groin injury and may not even be playing Sunday, but hey, if he doesn't suit up, let's say hi to him anyway as he sits on the bench. Seriously though, I hope he gets well soon. I never wish injuries upon anyone ever, not even Russell Wilson, believe it or not. Honest to God. From here, let's talk about the Chiefs' offense for a moment here, specifically their inability to close things out in the fourth quarter on a large percent of drives where they are trailing, tied, or have a one-score lead. This was an interesting stat today on Twitter via Ron Kopp Jr. from Arrowhead Pride. The last 10 drives, which the Chiefs have had a one-score lead, have been tied, or have trailed in the fourth quarter this season, have looked like this. Punt, field goal to go up 10, fake field goal fail, missed field goal, game-ending interception, TD to go up 7, punt, field goal to go up 3, punt, game-ending INT. Now, that's 10 drives and only 3 of them ended up in points and only 1 of them ended in a TD. That's a 10% TD success rate in the fourth quarter. Now, it's not the end of the world here. The Chiefs are 4-2 after all. They're leading the league in multiple offensive stats, so it's not all doom and gloom, but I'm bringing this up because it's certainly something to monitor. I'm sure the Chiefs are more than aware of this issue and are aiming to fix it. I hope, but wanted to bring it to y'all's attention so y'all can monitor it with me. But let's switch sides to the defense for a moment because I found an interesting graphic by Joseph Hefe on Twitter talking about Spags and blitzing outcomes against the Bills. We know in my video yesterday I was going in a little bit on Spags for the 2 blitzes in particular that resulted in TDs, but there were multiple more blitzes than that were positive results for the team. So he says this, here's every blitz KC ran and the outcomes. The blitzes ended 4 drives, 1 ended in a field goal, 2 TDs, 4 incompletions, 1 3-yard completion on 1st and 10, and 1 first down. So out of 11 blitzes, 9 worked, 1 ended a drive but resulted in a field goal, and 2 did not and ended in 2 TDs. So I'd be curious to know what the results would have been had the Chiefs not blitzed in some of those drives for comparison's sake, but blitzing is indeed a high risk, high reward, and we love it when it works, but hate it when it doesn't, right? My point is this though, blitzing doesn't have to be so heavily relied upon if the front 4 could actually get pressure on the QB. That has been my critique for a little while now, and yeah, while the blitzes only gave up 2 TDs, I mean, that's still 2 TDs, where Joshua Williams specifically was left on an island one-on-one while the L'Jarius Sneed was up at the line blitzing. So it is what it is. The blitzes work a lot of the times, but when they don't, they really don't. And while the D-line has seemed a bit lackluster at times, a definite bright spot is Chris Jones, of course. He's leading the league, or nearly leading the league, for a DT among everybody in the NFL, but also a bright spot, a developmental, still growing and learning bright spot is rookie George Karlaftis. He has 2 batted passes so far this season, which is tied for the 3rd most for edge defenders, and also 17 pressures this season, which is 31st among edge defenders, and I think it's also 1st among all rookies. The unfortunate part, though, he's only gotten 1 sack on the season, so hopefully more to come. You like all those pressures, just want to see some more sacks. I want more, so I know y'all want more, because we all want a free Big Mac from McDonald's. Who has ever taken advantage of that stupid deal, by the way? Not me. Anyway, George Karlaftis is a rookie, so it may simply take time for him to continue growing, but I don't want to be all negative, doom and gloom. I do want to shout out the defense again for their performance against the Bills, in spite of the blitzing criticism I had, and this is with Tershawn Wharton, Willie Gay, Brian Cook, Rashad Fenton, and Trent McDuffie out of the game. In spite of all that, they held the number 2 scoring offense in the NFL to 24 points. The Bills were 2 of 4 in the red zone, and that doesn't include a possession that ended with a field goal at the Chiefs' 21-yard line. Buffalo was also held short on 4th down twice as well. So some definite positives here, and in theory, it's only up from here as the team gets healthy and returns to true form, whatever that is, because it's early in the season, and we're still trying to figure out what true form really looks like. And a final note for now on the Chiefs versus Bills game. This was the most watched NFL on CBS Week 6 game in 15 years. Wow. Averaging 25.407 million viewers. Well, who the heck wouldn't want to watch Patrick Mahomes versus Josh Allen go at it? It's a gladiator bloodbath every time the 2 teams play, and it's the 2 greatest QBs in the league, and it's not even close. So I'm glad they tuned in, because it was definitely worth watching. Well, something else I've been watching and wish others would tell me about, the Chiefs organization in particular, is what are y'all going to be doing with all this freed up money? Quote unquote all. It's not that much in the grand scheme of things, but something happened today that's worth talking about. Field Yates tweeted this out today. The Chiefs have restructured the contract of all-pro tight end Travis Kelce, converting his base salary into a signing bonus, or some of it, to clear $3.455 million in cap space per source. And of course, once that news reached Twitter this morning, everybody went absolutely bananas. People calling for Odell Beckham Jr., people like Brett Coleman, who said Odell would look good in red. Marcus Spears said, KC, y'all getting ready for OBJ? Y'all think y'all slick? I don't know this, but this fishy. And then Pat McAfee said this on his show today.
But they open up $3.455 million in cap space in the middle of the season. It is October 18th. There was a deadline, allegedly, of November for Odell Beckham Jr. to be back healthy. Odell Beckham Jr. has done an NFL tour, recruiting trips almost, and he has gone to every single team that appears to have a shot in the long haul. The Chiefs are a team that has an opportunity to go the long haul. Yep. Chiefs have a great offense. The Chiefs could use another weapon. Why? Because the Chiefs use all their weapons.
Yeah, they do. Everybody.
Odell Beckham Jr. being added to that crew over there would be the perfect Andy Reid move. It'd be perfect for Patrick Mahomes. And I can't believe we're saying that this is definitely going to happen, but that is why they opened up this cap space.
And while I personally believe a wide receiver acquisition at this point to be very, very unlikely, here's what Brett Veach said in the offseason about acquiring weapons for Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I think our priority is always any sort of advantage that we can get, we'll pursue. It's no different than the Rams. I mean, they had a bunch of wideouts and they had a chance to get Odell. If it makes sense to us and it doesn't put us in any long-term binds in regards to future caps and structure, if there's any way we can get Pat Mahomes more weapons, we'll do that. And obviously, Odell's done a great job for the Rams, and it just worked out for them where as soon as they signed him, they had a receiver get hurt. So now it looks like an even better move, but we'll always pursue talent. And if it makes sense, we'll be aggressive in that fashion.
If it makes sense for us, even if it's just a little better, we'll pursue it and we'll be aggressive in that fashion. So you can't rule out a wide receiver, Odell Beckham Jr., or a trade for somebody else, Amari Cooper, but a receiver would take weeks, if not longer, to learn the complicated playbook of Andy Reid. I mean, sure, you could get someone like Odell in the huddle and say, yo, go run this route, and if I audible, run this route. Then tell everybody else to play, and you could make it work. But Odell has been through a lot of injuries, and honestly, I think Mahomes and his wide receiver crew will start clicking more as the season goes on and rapport continues to build. Just look at Juju Smith-Schuster, for example. He went all the way off last game, 5 targets, got him 5 receptions for 113 yards and a TD. And besides all that, what I believe we need more than a wide receiver is either an offensive tackle or maybe, more importantly, some help along the D-line. A popular name of late is Brian Burns, the defensive end currently with the Panthers, who are literally falling apart at the seams, similar to the Broncos, but the Broncos aren't quite that bad yet. Anyway, Burns is a player Veach may like, a former first-rounder drafted by the Panthers in 2019. He's recorded back-to-back 9-sack seasons and had 13 tackles for loss just a season ago. He's still young, 24, and I believe the Chiefs would only need about $1.5 million to fit Burns under their cap for 2022, according to the homies at Locked On Chiefs at least, so it's not impossible. The Chiefs certainly have the draft capital or could make it happen. If not Burns, I'm sure there's someone else out there. There's always names being thrown out. Brett Veach and them, I'm sure, have been on the phones asking teams, hey, who would you give up? Let me know. And I will tell you this much, though. It's not going to be for a running back. And some of you may be like, well, duh, Cole, Andy doesn't like to run the ball anyway. So why would that even be a consideration for anyone on planet Earth? Well, it's because there are many out there hoping for the Chiefs to bring in Christian McCaffrey, who has been mentioned in trade rumors for a while now, and he probably is going to go somewhere, but let me tell you, it's not happening, guys. The Kingdom would literally riot if they brought in a running back, trust me. D-line or O-line help first and foremost, please, and freaking thank you. And if you really want to see the Chiefs running game do better, they got to call more run plays, and the O-line has to do better, so maybe we should buff up the O-line, specifically one of the tackles, if we want to see the run game increase. Anyway, I know some of you are probably excited to hear about Kelce's contract restructure, and you're sitting here wondering about the possibility of the Chiefs bringing someone else in. Let me go ahead and potentially burst your bubble real quick first. Jason from Over the Cap had a couple of notes today on the restructure. He said, quote, Chiefs had around $200K in cap room remaining, so Kelce restructure was needed to function for the rest of the year. He then said, quote, assuming their receivers stay healthy, the Chiefs would still need to account for $840,000 in cap room by season's end just for them playing a full season. So yeah, odds are the contract restructure from Travis Kelce was mainly for breathing room to shuffle players around the practice squad to the active roster, sign others to vet minimums in a pinch in case of injury, and have the proper funds for players who play the entire season as mentioned above. So sadly, it's not entirely likely that a move is coming, though it's never completely out of the realm of possibilities, but that's where I want to pass the question off to you guys. What do you think about this? Do you think the Chiefs will make a move before the trade deadline? If so, what position will it be for? I'd say D-line is the most pressing need, then an offensive tackle. What say you? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and let's bicker about it down there like adults on Twitter per usual. Make sure to leave a super thanks or bearded comment to potentially be featured in an upcoming vid. Sub, like, you know the freaking deal. Then check out this video here, which is from the crew over at Kingdom Kast. They brought in special guest Matt Verderame. And until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go. How about those